So we now move into the most engaging segment of today's morning, our panel discussion, and today's theme is quality as a competitive advantage, elevating Indian manufacturing to global standards. May I invite our moderator and distinguished panelists to kindly take their seat on stage. And today's session will be moderated by Mr. Yogesh Umbarkar, founder TECMOTIV Solution. Can we have a big round of applause for Mr. Yogesh? Can we have Mr. Cosimo Cereda, Managing Director, Marposs, India? Mr. Rajesh Mandlik, Managing Director, Setco, Spindles, India. Can we have a round of applause? Dr. Ravindra Utgikar, Chief Sales Officer, Wilo, India. Thank you, sir. Mr. Akash Manoj Shirodkar, Director, Shirodkar Preci. Ladies and gentlemen, please give them a big round of applause. And now the stage is all yours, Yogesh.
Good morning. Is it good morning really? Is it the three lectures? Obviously talking about the quality and the quality of the sleep we need. Okay, so thanks Dinesh and Meshmix. I think it's really great to host this panel, and I think it's really one of the most interesting panel. We talk about quality here. Obviously, I wouldn't go into the more details because I think our previous speakers have really set the tone for the same context, like quality as a competitive advantage, where it's kind of definitely required when we talk about the global standard. I think we have got a good examples from the previous. Uday talked about, Hidayat talked about how India has been striving to get those global standard and the scale as well overall. I will just talk about one or two example I recently just come across. So I've been talking to a lot of European and Chinese companies, helping them to enter in India. Recently, we had in fact, just Monday, I'll give you a really good example. We went to one of the biggest CV maker with one of the Chinese company, and we really talked about, we made a presentation in terms of the Chinese technology, in terms of their power electronics, X-in-1 and so on. I think and then we started with, in terms of asking the OEM, what is that you're looking at now? So they say, oh, we loved your product. But then the first question was not even technical. The first question was, okay, do you have a localized supply chain? And do you have a localized partner? That was a question to the Chinese OEM. I'm just trying to give you the context that because now here in India, it's not just about how you bring the technology. I think the opportunities are coming, and given the government push for Make in India, for subsidies, where you need to have a localized content more than 40 to 50%, right? So including that particular thing made Chinese company to think about, because the earlier plan was how do we sell from China directly in India, but now that made them push to say that, oh, we need to have a localized partner or localization partner. And then the first question started on the same point. Yogesh, do you think we can get both the scale and the quality, okay, from the India the same way and at the same cost, which we can deliver from China? That was really one of the key opening thing, and that is where I'm coming to this same question to this panel now as well. Obviously, there is something similar we are coming across, that there's a lot of opportunity with the free trade agreement with the European Union, with the UK, and what is happening is in those European market, there is a lot of competition is being faced by even again Chinese. But then for them, those European players are looking at India to get those partnerships and try to see that how India can help them to build up that scale and the cost. Okay. But then their worry is just, they know that India can help in terms of the scalability, in terms of the cost advantage as well. But can they make the same quality? That's again the similar question coming up. So there is I would say that in India, we have a talent, we have the market, we have, because of this free trade agreement or because of the Chinese want to get out of China to capture Indian or Southeast Asian market. There's a plenty of opportunities are coming to India, but at the end of the day, the quality remains one of the key concern, not just the cost or scale overall. And I see that even today, when I was looking at numbers, our global manufacturing export is just 2%, or not even less, 2% overall. So you can see there is a tremendous opportunity is there, but how do we achieve that? Because at the end of the day, as I said, given the examples, the customer want that quality as a key factor now. So they look at a reliability, precision, performance, safety. We talked about that from the Uday seat as well. So this particular panel will try to understand from our expert here that how this quality can become India's strongest competitive advantage, and we kind of encash on those China plus one or European free trade agreement, and we can latch on and become that really maybe from that 2% to at least 5 to 10% kind of aspiration to become a more export hub as well overall. So with this as a brief kind of a context setting, I would like to have each panelist to just quickly introduce about, so that the audience get a context in terms of your company, what it does, and maybe some background about yourself in 1 or 2 lines. Okay.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Dinesh. I don't see you anymore. You are somewhere. Thank you, everybody, for being here. It's an honor to be here. Okay, I am Cosimo Cereda, MD of Marposs. I live in India, in Delhi, now for a while. And before India, I was for this company, Marposs, that's an Italian company in Germany. I spent 13 years in Germany. Before I was in Spain, so I've been around for a while. Been in France as well, in Italy, in Italian. Sometimes you are even in your country. And what we do is, in Marposs, is quality. And quality, we do from the very beginning. Somebody said quality is a state of mind. So from the raw material to the inspection. And the inspection is a bad necessity, is a fix. You don't rely on inspection. You have to use it, but the quality is across the production, across the grinding, across the inspection. These are the 3 pillars of our business. This is what we do, and we will speak about this later. So for the moment, I leave it here and I pass to the next.
Thank you. Good morning, all. My name is Rajesh Mandlik. I represent here Setco Spindles India Private Limited. It's a joint venture company between Setco US and the company which I and my business partner founded way back in 2002 by the name Ultra Precision Spindles to recondition and manufacture precision spindles. So we have got 3 plants here. In Pune is the mother plant, and we also have plant in Pune, Chennai, and Manesar. In fact, we are neighbor of Marposs in Manesar. And here as well. Yeah. So globally, we have got 10 plants, 5 in US, 3 in India, and 1 each in China and Taiwan. So that's the brief background. So thank you very much, Dinesh, for inviting me over here.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Ravindra Utgikar. I hold a doctorate in international marketing strategies. I have over 35 years of experience, having traveled over 40 countries across 5 continents, lived in the US, Middle East, and also in Far East, involved in the project as well as product businesses. My area of expertise is developing go-to-market strategies, market entry and growth strategies by and large. I represent a company called Wilo Mather and Platt Pumps India Private Limited. We are a 70-year-old company in India, and we are a 100% subsidiary of Wilo AC Germany, which is 152-year-old German multinational responsible for sustainable water transportation. There is a saying that money goes or prosperity goes where water flows. So our company is responsible for transportation of water. So about 8 billion people on the planet, leave aside a billion who don't have access to water. About 7 billion people every day are beneficiaries of pumps because the water that you get at your household. So our company is involved in creating water management infrastructure in India, which is pressurized water distribution system all municipalities follow. We are responsible also for taking care of storm water. You have excess floods and you throw out the water. We also look after the sewage treatment, effluent treatment. We also try to connect inter-basin river transfers. You already have seen that Nadi Jod Prakalpa, National River Joining Mission, where you have droughts in one place, excess monsoons in other place, and all the flood water goes to the sea. So to create a water infrastructure, Government of India has this ambition programs like Har Ghar Nal, Jal Jeevan Mission, Namami Gange, and so on and so forth. So our company is responsible for providing pump and pumping system infrastructure for this basic need of humanity, industry, and mankind as a whole. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Akash Shirodkar. Thank you, Dinesh, for having me here. It's an honor to be here between such esteemed dignitaries. But I represent the family business, which is called Shirodkar Precision Components. We're into contract manufacturing for precision machine parts and assemblies, catering to sectors like oil and gas, hydraulics, aerospace, defense, where because the context is quality, the risk of life is very high in places like oil rigs, aerospace, which is why over the last 18 years we've been working with major OEMs globally, and they have handheld us in building global quality standards. So I will try and take you guys through that journey.
Great. So you can see now we have a wonderful panel covering up the niche manufacturing, the one who kind of drives day-to-day needs from morning to evening. Then we have a very Indian originated company, and we have a quality global company, obviously based out of India now. I'll start with trying to understand what each of you mean when you talk about quality as a competitive advantages, right? And then why today is becoming increasingly important in today's manufacturing landscape. So just to set the understanding from each one of you, maybe you can have maybe 2 to 3 minutes maximum. So maybe you can start with Cosimo.
Is working? Yes.
Yeah.
Good. What is quality? Quality is not doing the things the best possible. Quality is not doing perfection. Quality, we are in industry here. We are makers. We are makers of India, of China, of Germany. It doesn't matter. We are makers. Is conformity with a specification. This is quality. Nothing else. If I say plus minus 3 microns, is plus minus 3 microns. It's not 5. It's not 7. It's not more or less. It's not I get it. It's that. This is quality. And to get quality, you have to design it, engineer it. From the design of the product, design of the line, design of the how you control the line, the people. This is quality. Across the factory, only this way we get quality. I don't get it somehow. I cannot fix it. I cannot put it after my line. I have a line now, I make quality to the specific new specification. Let's talk automotive. I have a quality I'm producing for no specification. Now I want to produce for Euro 6. My line is not working. I have to rethink everything. I can adapt it. I have to control it. Right? This is quality for us. And we supply all the means to get that. Right? So the main component of quality is an attitude. First part is we need an investment. And why we want quality? Very simple. We want to sell. We want India to be rich. I'm a foreigner. I'm Italian. I come to India. What do we want? We want India as a partner and be rich, to have a lot of jobs working, because in economy, there is a very good thing. If your neighbor is rich, you get richer. So you want the good of your neighbor. Huh? This is a very important thing to understand. You don't want self-reliance. Sorry for that. Somewhere. We want interaction. We want to help each other. And to participate in the manufacturing game of the world. Now we have the free trade agreement with UK, with Europe. There is another one with Australia. We need to talk the same language. If I send a blade for a turbine to Europe, or I manufacture a machine, a Trump machine, it has to comply with the quality. So, is a competitive advantage? It can be, but is much worse than this. Is a need, is a request. If you don't have it, I know companies that have sent 3 containers to Sweden, and then the customer has said, dear friend, you know these 3 containers? You know what you can do with them? They are there. I said 1% defects. I open 1 crate. Here you have your 3 containers. This is a requisite. We want to sell worldwide. We want to manufacture. Be in the game. We need that. So there's no way.
Okay, so you're saying this is a mindset, and obviously it has to go through across the manufacturing chain, and also it's a need. It's a must now. Okay.
You need it. You need it not in quality department. You need it in production, in all the supply chain.
Yeah. Yes, Rajesh.
Okay. For me, quality was a different journey altogether. In fact, when we started our business, we started reconditioning spindles. And then when we decided to get into manufacturing, our mindset was all related to repairs, which is all about adjustment, because we have existing subassembly and we need to adjust something to make it run. That's it. When we got into manufacturing, we received all kind of bashings from customer. And sorry, we were not using Marposs then. But we realized hard way because the other spindle suppliers in India, who are of course from outside, they are having such a fantastic appropriation of quality and price. Unfortunately, we were good at price, but we were not that great in quality. And we learned it really, really hard way, the importance of quality. And today I'm proud to tell all of you that our product is at par with the international quality. But before that, let me just tell you that our Taiwanese counterpart, they imported few stuff from us. And there were some 5 spindle components, and all were rejected. Functionally, everything was good. There was no problem with our functional dimensions, which were produced probably on conventional grinding machines. Kellenberger is sitting here, but we produced on conventional grinding machines. Quality, functional parameters were okay. But the aesthetic part of it, there were some turning marks. There was, the radius was not correct. So for those reasons, the components were rejected. So what I'm trying to tell you is that it's a still learning process. We are in the process. Probably we might have reached the 95 or 98% of global standards. But I think hopefully by induction of some new equipments, I think we will be at par in next few months. So that's the whole take on quality. For me, it's a hard learning process, I would say. Thank you.
That's a great example, Rajesh. Yes, Ravindra.
All right. So let me say that quality is the bedrock of everything. Is the lifeblood of any organization, from concept to realization and the life cycle management. And when you look at the quality as a one thread that cuts across, we are talking from innovation, then we are talking to R&D, then we are talking to POCs, proof of concept, then going all the way to procurement, design, development, engineering, procurement, manufacturing, quality, logistics, supply chain, project, installation, commissioning, care for life, and also after life cycle disposition. So when we talk about quality, to me, the quality is about product quality. The quality is also about process quality. The quality is also about people quality, the caliber of your people, how competent they are. About the innovation, what kind of top problems that you are trying to find solution to, which is also very important. Then obviously materials play a very important role into everything that we do. So quality really cuts across the entire life cycle. Now my colleagues tried to put in a micro and macro way. I'm trying to put it in a big picture way, which is also the theme of this conference, which is Makers of Bharat. And to just put in perspective, I have some numbers. So today India's GDP is around $4 trillion. And the manufacturing sector today contributes only 17% of it. We are predominantly a service economy in excess of 50%, 53%. Now, to put it in context, the Niti Aayog report, which says that Indian economy by the centenary year of independence, 2047, should be about $35 trillion economy. And then there is a vision to grow the share of manufacturing from 17% to 25%. That's a massive jump. That's one way to look at it. Another, I think you made it very rightly, that today India's share of global trade of goods and services is merely 2%. Niti Aayog has a vision to grow that parameter to 10% of global goods and services sold. Again, manufacturing contributes, I think, around 55% to our exports, around $300 billion today. There is a vision that by centenary year, it will come to around $4 trillion, keeping the same percentage in place. This I talked actually about export. So that's also a strong focus on Make in India for the world. And there are number of programs that our government is instilling, whether it is Make in India, production linked incentive, and trying to attract foreign direct investment in that space. Manufacturing today creates about 10 to 12% of the employment, largest being obviously agriculture. So that is about 68 million people. And the government has vision to grow that contribution to 15% by 2047, which would be 168 million skilled jobs in the manufacturing sector. So all this transition is going to be possible only on the backbone of manufacturing sector, the whole journey from a developing economy to a developed economy. Vikasit Bharat. And government understands that very well. So there is a lot of focus. Now clearly there is a changing landscape because of the technology disruptions and the way manufacturing is being done because of the automation, then instrumentation, process control, robotics, now going all the way to AI. So the nature of jobs are changing. There is also a big fear whether the jobs will go away. And there was a nice take that if you had someone who had memory of 1940s economy suddenly coming to life today, he would not recognize 60% of the jobs that are existing today. So while AI definitely would take away some jobs, there is a job creation that is also on the card. The point of making all this is this journey from merely contributing 17% to 25% to the extent of contributing $7.5 trillion is going to be possible on the bedrock of quality. So quality is absolutely fundamental to anything and everything that we do. It will determine whether the vision, whether the blueprint of India's growth story continues to remain a vision and a dream, or we actually see its realization and fructification of its really the vision that our Prime Minister has. That's really my take on quality. And as far as Wilo, Mather and Plaid is concerned, I think there was one gentleman who said that it took them 5 years to convince German counterparts to start making in India. In fact, we are extremely proud to tell you that at Wilo, Mather and Plaid, we take great pride in making engineered pumps which are unique to the Wilo world. So we have a lot of pride in bringing Indian technology expertise to make machines that have applications which are global. Yeah. Thank you.
It's great view, Ravindra. As you said, it's a bedrock and it's all about people, process, product, everything and innovation. Yes, Akash.
So for the longest time, I think quality has been considered as a cost of doing business. And I think slowly and steadily that mindset is changing. And for India especially, that mindset needs to rapidly change in order for us to adapt to global quality standards. For example, when a global giant OEM approaches you for onboarding you as a supplier, they're not only buying your product, they're investing in your processes, they're investing in your quality, they're investing in the culture that your organization has. And quality is not just certifications, it is definitely a culture that has to be imbibed from the shop floor up. And the more you imbibe that culture throughout your organization, the more aligned you will be with global quality standards. And quality is also your ticket inside, but I think more than that, it is sustainable quality is your way of maintaining sustainable business and growth over the long run. And when it comes to certifications like API, Q1 certification, aerospace certifications, instead of considering them just like a compliance, if you actually imbibe that certification inside your organization, I think that can do wonders for the whole organization. So I will leave this question on a point saying that quality is not just a compliance. It is a culture you need to imbibe, right from the cleaners in your organization to the managing director of the organization.
That's really great. I think that, as you said, for Indians, I think there is somehow that mindset and that culture need to imbibe rather than just doing the tick mark for audit and certifications or all. So great. I think we've seen the great views from each one of you. I'll try to move in terms of understanding some of the examples from each one of your areas as well. So I'll start with Marposs with Cosimo saying that, can you give me some example or share some example where the customer faced a significant quality or precision challenge, and then how you solved it and what was the impact it has created?
Okay, there are lots of examples. In our case, we're going to center in some of them. The key issue is when we are thinking about a product with higher specification, we have to think about the process, and we have to think about the result and the running cost. How much is going to cost me this product, this part, this component, whatever, per unit, because I want to sell it, or I want to finalize the product I want to sell somewhere. Either is an input for somebody else or is a finished product, doesn't change. Okay, so here, if I'm thinking about minimizing the investment, I start having a problem, because I try to save. I'm going to save 3 lakhs. Great, I saved 3 lakhs. Oh, it's going to cost me, in running cost, 17 crores. Or I get it rejected. So first shift, let's think in investment. So example, we are not asked about the line. We are not asked about any system to make sure that the line delivers quality and lowers the production costs. because the good news is quality is connected with lowering production costs, running costs. And we are getting, we deliver a gauge. The gauge has a precision of 0.2 microns. I guess here we know what is a micron. Now it's a very thin thing. I mean, 0.2 microns is like comparing this bottle with a ship. Okay? Okay, we test the machine. The machine comes in a trolley with wheels. What do you want to say? I mean, you look at the thing and you say, what? Do you want to measure 0.2 microns on a tray with wheels? It's like saying, I want to measure I'm going to build a new door for your home, and I go and measure the door like this. It's like this. Okay, I produce it like this. And I go home to my shop and I produce it. More or less. So, or we deliver a gauge, and the gauge is giving less than 1 micron precision. Then, materials have the bad habit of being unstable in temperature. If it's hot, it's bigger. If it's cold, it's smaller. And I have a line that's open to the exterior. So in winter, I have 10 degrees, and in summer, I have close to 50. We have a problem there. Then the gauge is being installed. I touch it, and my hand does like this. Are you going to measure 6 microns with a gauge that's doing like this? What do you think? No. So there are plenty of examples. So we need to think about the conditions. I mean, when we speak about the line, when we want to get the precision, we have to think about the environment conditions. And environment conditions are the area, cleanliness, temperature stability, temperature compensation, skills, how you make sure the product is coming right. Because, I mean, it won't help you if we have a gauge but the product is uneven. It won't help it, because then we are going to have 10, 20, 30% scrap. We don't want that. We want to get it we want 99.9% of the products, or ideally 100%, go through. Yes, measure, fine, perfect. Leak test, no leakage, perfect. Electrical test, perfect. The motor will last my 3 million hours or whatever. This is what I want after the testing. So we can help also in this. But in the company, in our company, we have to think, be prepared for that. We have to think, I am producing vehicles, components for vehicles, and now I'm going to produce for Euro 6. Yeah? So I have to be prepared. When the engineer of Marposs or any other company dies or whatever, we are not in our specialty we are unique, but you have other companies aside. Comes, you have to ask him, okay, what do I need? Don't tell him, I want the gauge. Yes, but don't worry, that's my business. No, it's not it's your business, but we want to help you.
Yeah.
And we want you to get the result.
So I think you really gave a good example, and the way you presented it really matters as well. So definitely, as you said, the quality, when you're trying to do about the inspection, these other factors and the quality of that inspection or gauges also matters a lot. Okay, so I think we will talk. Definitely, we'll come back to yeah, definitely. But then I think it's a good example. Yeah. What I would like to, coming back to Rajesh, right, where you did mention about one of your starting example as well, where you say that how the attest for this Taiwanese customer example, how it matters. But then maybe you can also share example where improving that machine capability, even that statistics or process stability, right? How it changed the customer perception, and what was the business impact? Something.
So, and Cosimo said that, plus minus 3 micron, and it is not 5 micron. So I thought that you roam around in my company in 2019 because that's how our process capability was in those days. And it was really tough. And as I said in the initial talk, that it was a learning experience. And then we decided, to produce the components. Like for example, our standard shaft is minus 2 micron plus 4 micron tolerance. And we decided to produce at 50% of the tolerance level. And it was really a tough task on the process capability and machine capability as such. So, but then we had to, and as Akash said, many times it is said that the quality is cost. But we had to invest in machineries, we had to invest in metrological equipments, and then we realized that whatever we were doing in 2018 and 19 was a crime. And because now the production, whatever is coming out is the 50%, and our next target is the 33% of the total tolerance, that we need to produce components at the 33% of the original, blueprint tolerance as such. So that has actually helped us, and what we are talking about as a subject of our panel discussion, there's quality as the competitive advantage, and that has really helped us not only to make our product run in the market, but win newer businesses. So I think I would second to Akash that quality should not be treated as the cause, but it should be treated as the driver of the business model, particularly in manufacturing industry. As I said, we invested not only on particularly CNC grinding machines, but also on some critical metrological equipments, like for example, Taylor Options roundness tester. And everyone who is sitting here, they know that it's a pretty costly equipment. Looking at that particular single arm, you feel that why it should cost that much. But we had to invest in that particular equipment, and then I think I'm having less sleepless nights these days. Yeah.
Definitely, if the quality brings less sleepless nights and bringing a lot of strategic business advantage. Great example. Maybe coming to Dr. Ravindra, from a global customer perspective, obviously we've seen some example here, but then what really differentiates suppliers beyond certification? As you said, it's just not a certification tick mark. How you evaluate and how you differentiate suppliers then?
Okay, that's a great question. So as a Wilo, we have presence in over 90 countries, customer references. So a rich global experience. So I can tell you that certifications like ISO are just hygiene factors. They don't mean much. That's given. What really your global customers are looking as a competitive advantage is actually resilience of your supply chain and the footprints of your supply chain. This has been particularly important after the COVID experience, that we had experienced the complete stalling of supply chain, followed up by this trade wars going and uncertainty, where suddenly the trade wars would make your supply chain uncompetitive. So essentially, one part to look at quality as a competitive advantage is how robust is your supply chain. Second aspect, we often talk, like I mentioned in the initial pitch also, that we talk in buckets. So first is supply chain. Second is technology and innovation. You want customers to partner with you on innovation and, journey that of a co-creation, where their problem statements are well known to you and the intellectual properties are kept within the two parties. There is a confidentiality there. So your ability to give a high quality technology solution will help you leverage the technology edge. Third, in the era of digitalization, how is your digital integration going on with your systems, with your processes to actually cut down the cycle time, to actually cut down the inefficiencies, how you can optimize your delivery chain. So the aspect that customers, global customers look for is also your ability to digitally integrate. The competitive advantage India has, we often say, is a cultural and communication integration or interface with global customers. We are the largest English speaking non-native English country on the earth, and that's why customers find it easier to work with Indian companies. So how effectively are you able to communicate with your customers, to understand their requirements and to deliver to those requirements? How culturally savvy you are in terms of bridging those intercultural gaps is one important aspect. In a world increasingly threatened by the evils of climate change and global warming, your ESG compliance, environmental social governance compliance, is turning out to be a big competitive edge. I mentioned some statistics. I can tell you that manufacturing sector today is responsible for 22% of the greenhouse gas emissions in India. It consumes 43% of the energy that is consumed in India. So how your company is able to manage the environmental compliances, how you have inclusive growth in terms of equal opportunity employers, last mile connectivity in terms of rural immersion in the mainstreaming of the economy, and obviously great governance. That's another aspect of this. Not to forget important aspect about financial stability and scalability. Your ability to pace up, ramp down as per customer demands is also something which customer look for. And that scale up, ramp up is not at the expense of quality. So we talked about supply chain, we talked about technology, we talked about ESG, we talked about cultural integration, we talked about your ability to scale up, down. See, these are the aspects which actually define whether your customers prefer you in a global competitive market or no. So when you think of quality, you can't think of quality in isolation, but you have to think of quality across the value chain, and how you can create value for your customers is an underlining message, which is why your customers will prefer you.
Very great answer. I think you really covered the whole spectrum of the key factors what the outside customers are looking at. And I think one of the factors, I can just want to give an example, because a lot of European Chinese OEM, when we talk about the localization in the EV sector because of the PLI and subsidy mandate, that there has to be at least 40 to 50% localized content has to be there, then only the OEMs get the subsidies part. I think then people talk about just can I just import and do the assembly? No, there is again further tier 2, tier 3 level of the localization is expected. And that's where I see your first point of the localized supply chain, that resilience and the technology aligned with that. Because I've been seeing that a couple of Chinese OEMs, or tier 1 suppliers, they are ready to partner up with Indian companies, but their major question is also that, okay, you may be able to bring up the cost, scale, quality, but how you are able to manage, because the way Chinese have built up the supply or value chain ecosystem there, that is something is again one of the key factor, and I can resonate very well with that, Ravindra. Coming to Akash, maybe from your organization perspective, can you give some example where you overcame that manufacturing or quality challenge, and then how with the limited resources? I think you did talk about a cost, but I think you're into the niche sectors. So some example would really help.
So I think early on, when we had just started the business, India and more Pune was a very automotive manufacturing focused place. So in a place like that, hiring talent was from companies that were mainly into automotive manufacturing. So things like turning an 8-inch OD for a length of 2 meters, people used to look at you and laugh. But we had to overcome that, and it came with its own set of challenges. where we had instances like, so we are a contract manufacturing setup. We have to make the part according to the print which the customer gives. So there were instances where the customer has asked for a 16 RMS surface finish, and final inspection has seen that it is 8 RMS, and they have shipped the part out, and we've had a rejection of the whole lot. And my team has come back to me and said that, sir, we gave them better. But it took a while for us to imbibe the culture in the organization that you need to provide what is asked of you and not assume that smoother is better. Then there were instances where the part was manufactured, and in automotive manufacturing, usually you don't leave sharp edges, cut them out with a chamfer. So following that, my team cut a chamfer and sent a container of 3,000 assemblies without asking, and the whole lot was again rejected. And it was a sealing surface where they did not require a chamfer. So to summarize all of this, it was important for the team to imbibe the culture that you need to not shy away from asking questions. Ask as many questions as required. Collaborate with the customer. Customer is God, of course, but asking questions is not a crime. So ask as many questions as required, and make sure that the product that is leaving your facility is 100% complying to the print. And at the end of the day, it is carrying your name. It is carrying your country's name. 35 countries are receiving our product today. So we take pride in the fact that we're shipping made in India products globally. So it is, I think, our responsibility to make sure that all the products that leave our door are in compliance to global quality standards.
Yeah, that's a good example, as you said, and even Ravindra touched base that it's a kind of a co-creation with the customer. I think every sector, what I've seen is right from the R&D to engineering. Since I'm dealing with a lot of European, Chinese companies, when we talk about, we don't say that, boss, just do the technology transfer. No, it's a co-creation. Although you have made it, but for India, there's a lot of customization, a lot of integration, a lot of optimization is required, and that's without that co-creation, it cannot be happening. So we have seen now there is a really good example, great example, like how the quality value is created today. Let's move on to understand how this technology will shape up the quality for tomorrow. Okay, so maybe I'll start with Cosimo again. So how do you see this quality evolving from inspection to real-time process intelligence, right? I mean, what kind of a technologies will define the next 5 years?
Okay, now we have, like always, we have some breakthrough technologies. Everybody speaks artificial intelligence. In manufacturing environment, yes, artificial intelligence can help us, but there are other technologies available. The technologies available that are not yet generally used in India, and this is going to fill the gap, the quality gap and the productivity gap, is the automatic supervision of the machine, what we call the monitoring. This system is adding some intelligence to the machine, and this intelligence will observe the machine. If the machine is producing correctly, it will let the machine work. If not, either it will try to correct the issue. In some cases, it's possible. Otherwise, it will call a human. It will stop the machine and call the human. This technology can be used in many applications, many types of machines, big groups of, for instance, in machine tools, or in presses, or in cool forming, or die casting, or wire production, or cable production. And this is a sort of automation because it's reducing the human factor in quality, because humans, we are not good in doing repetitive actions. Just for the people that's worried about the employees, because these are, oh yes, we are going to automate. How are we going to get the number of people working in manufacturing? I just tell you a thing, very simple. Look at the countries with most automation and look at the employment rate. In other words, try to find a worker in US or in Germany. It's an adventure, or in Switzerland as well. Try. They are the countries with higher levels of automation. That's the impact of automation in employment. You generate more employment. And said this. So these technologies, feedback technologies also, so as you produce, you measure and you correct, all this is a present we need to use in our factories. This present will take care of macroscopic quality. It will not measure if it's 3 microns or less, but it will tell us if the manufacturing process is done as expected. And if we have the right production line, of course, it will imply that the production is okay. And when we come to the gauge and we measure the leak testing, we will have okays. This is, on the other hand, by avoiding the production of bad parts, we are going to lower our cost because we are not scrapping, we are not reworking, we are producing more, and the last thing is these systems tend to reduce the cycle time and setup time. This brings us a further increase in production. So it's a perfect solution. This is existing. Then, after this, in 5 years, we speak about artificial intelligence and other things. But we go A, B, C, D.
Great. Coming to then Rajesh, can these intelligent machines or predictive maintenance can really eliminate defects before they happen? So I think in your scenarios, how you see?
Yeah, it helps definitely. I mean, because of course you need to have super technical knowledge that what is causing what kind of defect. I mean, if the machine has got, say, play in the slide, or if it is having run out in the spindles, then what is it causing as a quality defect? That understanding has to be there. And if that is there, and that can be acquired, it is not rocket science or something, but that can be acquired. But yeah, I mean, so if you have the proper, like for example, we are now chasing TPM, in fact. So in TPM, all this CLETA and all those parameters, that is helping us to keep our machines intact, and eventually it will result into better quality product. So I mean, that's absolutely, I'm seconding what you said, in fact.
Yeah. And I will just add up to that also. I mean, because last week there was a powertrain conference, and one of the German connector company really showed how the technology is helping their connectors. I said, okay, just a connector connecting two parts. What is it? But obviously, in the lot of ICE engine or even the hydrogen supply chain generation, there is those connector, and they showed really the innovation that they have this RFIDs connected at both ends, and on the real-time monitoring, if out of those 10 connectors, if the 2 connectors are not connected, it will just give indications, and then you can quickly fix it up as well. And so as I said, there's a lot of good example of the technologies, is, as he also mentioned, these lot of automation technology, feedback loop system, right, is helping a lot. Coming to Ravindra, so how are this customer expectation evolving then with respect to quality, traceability, sustainability, and the life cycle performance? I think you did mention about ESG, governance, sustainability.
Okay. The customer expectation game is always a catch-up game, okay? The underlying truth of customer expectations catch-up game is you need to get under the skin of your customer, which means that you need to know his stated needs, his unstated needs, his needs of today, his needs of tomorrow. And then only you are going to be able to give him the solution that you want. So more broad-based answer is the customer expect moon, as the saying goes. But in reality, customers are also human beings. They also are appreciative of the challenges that we face. They are also mindful of ongoing, let's say, dynamics in commodity pricing, stalled supply chains, exchange rate fluctuations, and so on and so forth. So really having great customer relationships is fundamental to knowing their expectations, and then you can deliver or better expectations. That's the underlining statement. To go step by step, you got customer expect first time right, zero defect delivery. And that you can, and I think he gave a great example that if you know his expectations of what the defect means or what he identifies as defect or no defect, your half job is done. So therefore, zero defect first time right is super critical for achieving customer or exceeding customer expectation. Second thing I have observed that customers are under extreme pressure to achieve their ESG goals. Whether it is carbon emission goals, energy goals, sustainability goals, water footprint reduction, we can go on and on. So they are also on a massive drive to greening their supply chain, which means your scope 3 emissions have to be also ensured that they are aligned with what customer expect. That means you also need to get into reduce, recycle, reuse, replenish, repurpose, rescale game of a circular economy. So you have to be mindful what his ESG or sustainable goals are, and then actually come good on those goals. So that's the second aspect of the whole game. Second, we are all talking of life cycle management. Basically, take, make, use, and dispose. So the customer expectations are also getting towards end of the life cycle disposition. Solar panels, wind turbine blades, batteries. Today, end of the life cycle disposition is a big challenge to which the solutions are being found out. So are you staying ahead in the game to help him achieve solution to that problem, which is tomorrow's problem, is also something which you factor in to make sure that you deliver or exceed customer expectations. Then obviously, we are all buying from this Amazon and Flipkarts where the traceability of our consignment is extremely important. From the time, and especially I'm coming from the project business, also in product business, but in project business, especially when the life cycles are long, how the project is progressing. If the customer is kept informed throughout the life cycle, and that way we ensure there is a surprise-free delivery, or you are being proactive in communication to bring in much needed transparency and trust, I think you are delivering on the customer expectations and delivery. And last, obviously, contractual compliances, delivering on the promise, promising what you can deliver and delivering what you have promised, which is fundamental to actually winning customer confidence and actually delivering on their expectations. The underlining thread in all these buckets, whether it is transparency, traceability, whether it is life cycle management, circular economy, zero defect, documentation, all of these lies a implicit thread of quality, because we are saying that quality is not something which is a deliverable of the quality department that is identified, but quality is everybody's business. Just like we say, safety is everybody's everyday business, quality has to be everybody's everyday business. And if we do that, delivering on customer expectation doesn't remain a dream.
Great. I think, Ravindra, you covered very well 360-degree, well-rounded from the customer perspective. I really like the stated and unstated part, because that's most important thing. And also, I resonate with you. You mentioned about the project traceability. There is in the product also now in the Europe already, there's a DPP, which is a digital product passport, is getting mandated. And I think that will bring a lot of clarity here as well. We need to manage that DPP here in India as well. Coming to Akash, what kind of a practical steps this maybe MSMEs can take today without kind of a major investment, right, to improve this quality? Can you give some examples?
Sure. So I think right now it's a very good time for the country, especially after COVID, when China was a single source for a lot of commodities, lot of products, and those supply chains came to a halt overnight, which is why a lot of companies from all over the world needed a plus one overnight, which is why we had a lot of demand push in to the country overnight. And I think we should use this time and opportunity over the next 10 years at least to make sure that we align ourselves according to the requirements of global quality, which will help us grow mutually. But to answer your question, I think there's a couple of things that Indian MSMEs can do to make sure that they get on this boat. One is, again, certifications. Don't treat them just as compliance. Make sure you take all of your certifications very seriously and imbibe that culture in your organization, be it just your ISOs 9001, 14001, 45001. Complicated certifications like aerospace, the AS9100D, or the oil and gas certifications like API Q1. You can use these certifications to make sure you keep your whole organization in check, as well as imbibe a culture of quality and safety and throughout the whole organization. Other than that, quality does not have to be a very expensive affair to begin with. Companies, small companies, don't need a world-class metrology lab to begin with to make sure that they're complying to global quality standards. Just simple things like operator awareness, or your quality department making sure they're in touch with all the stakeholders throughout the process also makes a huge difference. So when volume justifies, then you can go ahead with investment. But the mentality that quality comes at a price needs to shift. I think these couple of things will make a huge difference for the whole country going forward.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good the way you put up from the culture mindset beyond the investments as well. So I think we'll just come, given the time, we'll just have a one quick rapid fire, and then please make it rapid fire. I don't want sentences. I want one sentence. Okay. So each one of us having some different questions. Cosimo, one technology that will redefine manufacturing quality. One sentence. One technology that will redefine manufacturing quality.
What I said in the last intervention, monitoring. Process monitoring redefines quality and brings quality, transforms from quality to quality assurance.
Okay, process monitoring. Maybe Rajesh, one myth about quality.
One?
Myth.
I think Akash has already replied that quality is a cost.
Okay.
That's a myth.
Okay, the myth is not equals to the cost. Ravindra, one leadership habit that creates a quality culture.
Zero tolerance.
Okay. One advice for Indian MSMEs. One. Biggest impacting without investments again.
Without investments, I think on-machine inspection.
Okay, on machine. I think it's in line with the real-time monitoring process. So here we go. As we say, you need a technology, you need a mindset, you need the process monitoring, and should not be looked as a cost, is what we're looking at as a wrap-up of this particular panel session. With this, maybe I'll have a one or two question from the panel. For the panel from the audience, if there is a time, Dinesh, or if there are questions from the audience. Oh, great. Can you have a mic? Maybe you can say your name, company, and then to whom you want to address, or in general, whatever.
Namaste. My name is Tushar Lanjewar. I am from Alicon Castor Oil Limited. And my background is I am from research and development design. Our company is supplying castings to OEMs. So my question is about quality of life, the work-life balance. We are comparing China, and China is working 24/7. India is working 24/6. Europe is working 24/5. So the speed which China have, which is not a long-term thing, it is short-term. One day they will collapse. But do we have that time?
So the question is, in India, how do we achieve that quality of the life, work-life balance?
Because if your employees are not working, then it is not sustainable.
We understand. So
it is not long term.
So is that the question, right?
How we will? Yeah.
So I think Ravindra.
Fundamentally, if your work is not part of your life, then something terribly wrong. My learning after 36 years of experience is work and life have to be aligned, which means you do what you enjoy doing. Now, I understand that in real life, there are challenges, there are compulsions, there are, but no divine interventions is going to help you solve that problem. So first point to your question is, if your work is not a subset of your life, then something fundamentally wrong. We need to introspect and see what we can do. Second, I would never be judgmental in saying something is not sustainable. I mean, you said China, it will collapse and that's not permanent. We don't know. But counting in merely number of hours is probably a little bit myopic. Okay, I think the whole discussion was about quality. So I think the whole aspect of your question, whether how do we find or catch up or move ahead of the competition, it's something we will have to do whatever we are doing to the best of our abilities. We have to just, some of the things that got discussed here, make a mind shift change that whatever I do best or nothing but the best. I think there is, I would have, if in the interest of time, I may not have luxury of explaining this anecdote, but there is a book called Why Not the Best by Jimmy Carter. So, Jimmy Carter, I will spend 2 minutes on it. Jimmy Carter was young naval officer who was being interviewed by Admiral Rickover, who is known as the father of nuclear submarine. So he powered nuclear submarine engines. And he says when he was interviewed, the toughest question he was ever asked to was, did you give your best? And that question, he says, haunted me. He went on to become US president. And when he said yes and no. And then the next question came is, why not? So if we can keep these two questions in mind, is this the best I can do, or did I give my best? If I did not give my best, why not? I think we'll have a lot of answers to the questions that you posed. Little bit philosophical, but I think profound.
Yes, I add as two observations. Among the richest countries, you work 7.5, 7.7 hours per day, 5 days a week. One point, look at the US, look at Europe, look at Japan. Well, Japan is not a good example, but also it's less than here. China works less than here now. It used to be different. And in manufacturing, if you have the adequate level of automation, you don't need to work that much. Humans, the machines do.
I think I must say that the questions added really a really good perspective we didn't capture during our panel. So thanks to the question. Any other last question? Or just... Okay, so with this, I really would like to thank our panelists. Can we have a round of applause for their expertise and comments? So thank you again for all the audience for patiently listening. And I'm sure you have a good takeaways to take from the panelists' thoughts and the examples, which would probably help you to build more quality in your life, both work and family life as well. So thank you again. Thanks, Dinesh.
And can we have Mr. Amit Yadav, Management Representative, the Association for Manufacturing Technology, to honor our esteemed speakers? Can we clear the table first, and then, because in the era of LinkedIn and YouTube, we need good photos. Huh? Takeaways from चलता है to नहीं चलेगा attitude. Quality is must. Opportunity to thank all our speakers. Thank you, Akash, for sparing a half a day for us. And it's all good to interact with you. You are a coach.